Welcome back to the Book of the Nerd. My name is Gio Young, and today we'll be talking about the graphic novel, Wires and Nerve. Let's get started. Wires and Nerve is a two-part graphic novel series. The first one, Wires and Nerve, the second one, Gone Rogue. They're both written by Marissa Meyer. The art in the first one is done by Doug Holgate, and the art done in the second one is done by Stephanie Gilpin. And the art definitely has a young adult vibe to it, and when they switch artists for the second one, you really can't tell. Stephanie does a great job of keeping the same style that Doug had in the first one. So it definitely has a young adult feel, very fairy tale feel to it. The Wires and Nerves take place after the Lunar Chronicles series. And recently, I got to meet Mr. Maya in person. She was doing a relaunching the Lunar Chronicles series. They had new book covers, so this is the original cover, and now the new covers looks like this. All of them got new covers, and then inside each of them has a really cool art page from a scene in the book. Lunar Chronicles series is one of my favorite series. Pretty much it's like a retelling of the fairy tales and a cyberpunk future. It's a good way to kind of describe it. It's kind of like a mix between Blade Runner the movie and Sailor Moon. So it was a great series. I really loved it. I had fun reading it. I just recently, I think last year, is when I finished Winter. It took me a while to get through the series, and I didn't know what took me so long, but I loved it. So when I saw that she had written a graphic novel in the same world, I had to get it, and I'm glad I did. It was great. So sometimes you read, books, many books turn to graphics, don't usually hold up to the series, especially if you loved the series. But this one definitely did for me. I rated this 5 stars. It was a great read, and it takes place about a year after the events in Winter. So this story takes place. Before I go into any of the spoilers, because there will be spoilers in this review, because this pretty much takes place after Winter, so the things when I talk about in this book will spoil the ending, and events happen in Lunar Chronicles. So before I go into spoilers, and I'll have a thing pop up that says spoilers, so if you want to stop the video there, you can stop it. But this does a great job with continuing the events, and it focuses on the character Aiko. It does a really great job with her character and with wrapping up the story. So if you read Lunar Chronicles and you're wanting more, this is it. But I do think if you haven't read Lunar Chronicles, you can pick this up and read this. These are a self-contained story. It's not just happily ever after. There is there's conflict, there is action scenes, and it's a whole self-contained story. So if you can read this without knowing the events of Lunar Chronicles, but it does help add to the world and the stories if you already know what has happened in the past. So that being said, I'm going to pop up my spoiler review picture here, because now we're going to go into some spoilers as I talk about what happens in Wires and Nerve. So Wires and Nerve does take place about a year after Winter. You get the sense here comes the annual ball that Kai had asked Cinder to go with her to, so everything's getting set up for that. Cinder is starting to try to get the government situated. She's wanting to replace her and trying to build a democracy on Luna. She's also trying to build relations with Earth, because of all the previous queens beforehand have just been pretty much horrible. And then the war. So she's trying to build relations, and she has all this on her plate. And to top it off, the soldiers that were sent down in the war, the Wolfsmoon soldiers, are still there. So Cinder desperately wants to get these soldiers back and bring them, hopefully without having too much conflict, bring them back to Luna and help them with starting or going back to where their lives were, and learn how to live in normal again, or somewhat, if they can be normal again for them. So this is where Aiko comes in, and this is what the story it focuses on the character Aiko. She is sent down to find these wolves and hopefully bring them back as peacefully as she can. Of course, a lot of them don't want to go, and they want to stay on Earth, but unfortunately they're causing a lot of problems. They're still attacking humans, so it's a mess. But so it opens up with an action scene as Aiko battles a pack of wolves, and also it talks about how she wants to become human. So it was a great kind of introduction to Aiko if you don't know who she is, and kind of a little bit about the situation and what's going on, and which kind of gives you the focus of the story, which focus is pretty much on stopping the wolves and Aiko, and as she kind of discovers herself. And this one's a lot of self-discovery. She finds out why she was made, and why she was given this flaw that made her personality, and is she still human, or is she just a robot programmed to act human? And that's definitely something that she has to tackle in this series. We also get to know Kenny, who was introduced in Winter in the series, but he shows back up in here, and he and Aiko, let's just say, do not like each other. They bicker at any chance they get. Kenny is definitely very, very formal, very regimented soldier, and Aiko is this fun-loving, carefree spirit cyborg. So, or not cyborg, a robot. So yeah, they don't get along a lot. But they're forced to work together because Cinder doesn't want Aiko to go alone. And so she assigns Kenny to go with her to help back her up. So they are forced to work together. Unfortunately for them, they do not like that. But it's interesting as their character builds. I won't give away too much, but they do eventually come to terms with each other. And it was fun to read how that comes to be, and how that kind of just really shows Aiko's character and how human she is, and how she struggles with this character who doesn't like her, but then she's trying to figure out, maybe he does like me, and I'm just doing something wrong, or maybe I should do this. And it was fun to read. Definitely gives you a sense of her trying to grow as a character, which she does a lot in this series. Of course, we get to see Scarlet Cress, Wolf, Cinder, Kai, Thorn, all these characters make an appearance, and they are in the series. A good portion of the series, they are in it. It does focus on Aiko, but these characters do come in and out, and they all rally together for this amazing end battle scene. As Aiko discovers the wolves are led by an alpha who is bent on revenge for Cinder. He has been mistreated by so long by Lavana and the evil queens of the past, and he just knows that Cinder is not who she says she is. She is really a fraud, and he is going to prove to everyone that she is just as evil as Lavana, and he is bent on revenge, and he plans to ruin anything that she tries to do to help repair relations between Luna and Earth. So definitely builds up the stakes as Aiko tries to stop them, and here on the way, she's getting ready for this big event for diplomacy, is that annual ball that she's going to go to see Kai, and so all the events are kind of building up to that point in it. Like I said before, the art was really done great. It was still meant for young adults, but if you're adult, you'll enjoy it. I enjoyed it. So I'm a big Lunar Chronicles fan, and this series does hold up, in my opinion, to the books. It gives you a great ending for those characters. If you were wanting more, or just miss the world, this does a great job of letting you experience the world for one last time and getting one last adventure. Like I said, Marissa Meyer did an excellent job with this script. I really enjoyed it. It's a self-contained story, so if you haven't read it, you can pick this up and read it and not feel totally lost. Which leads me to wonder if Marissa Meyer will do more graphic novels for her books, and like kid animation stories, or for side characters, or maybe just write a graphic novel, a story of its own. I'd be curious to see if she would want to do that, because she did such a great job. And that's it for my review of Wires of Nerve. It was a 5-star read for me. I really enjoyed it. Let me know if you've read this in the comments below. Are you wanting to read it? Or if you're a big Lunar Chronicles fan like I am, I would love to talk to you about it in the comments below. So I will talk to you guys later, and have a great day. Bye.